I still remember the check-in at that retreat house. Wooden walls, warm light, the smell of pine, like the whole place was designed to calm you down. On the front desk there was a basket and a simple sign, "Phones go here. Retreat rule." We all dropped our phones in. One person hesitated for half a second, like they were double-checking their pockets. I noticed it, then I let it go. There were 5 of us. Vika from HR, polite smile, control in every breath. Ilya, the product lead, sharp and cold like a spreadsheet. Max, the developer, quiet, almost invisible. Me, just a participant who came here because some nights I couldn't breathe. And Lyra, the psychologist running the retreat, who looked at people like she could read them line by line. Lyra said, "Tonight is an experiment. We're going to tell the truth and watch what truth does to people." We sat in a circle in the meditation room. A candle on a low table. Soft shadows. Faces that looked more honest than they really were. Lyra said, "Each of you will name one thing you're ashamed of, and one thing you're hiding." Vika admitted she'd fired people and called it process, then couldn't sleep afterward. Ilya said he once stole an idea from a friend and got promoted for it. Max swallowed and said, "Sometimes I imagine everything just disappears. Like, click. And then I heard my own voice from somewhere outside myself. I hate being controlled. And I've gotten really good at lying." Lyra smiled. Not kindly. Professionally. "Perfect," she said. "This will be interesting." Dinner was quiet. Too quiet. Lyra stood up and said, "1 minute," and walked out. 10 minutes passed. 15. 20. And then it became obvious. Her absence wasn't just an empty chair. It was a hole in the room. Vika tapped her nails against a cup, like she was trying to keep her hands busy. Ilya checked his watch like time was an employee running late. Max looked pale. We went to find Lyra. The door to the meditation room was slightly open. Inside, the light was dim, an emergency glow, low and thin. The air felt wrong. Lyra was on the floor, calm, almost like she was asleep. Next to her, a small voice recorder and a compact speaker. For 1 second I thought, this is part of the exercise. She's testing us. Then I saw the details. Her fingernails, broken, like she'd struggled. A faint mark on her wrist, like someone had held her there. On the low table near her hand sat a cup of mint tea, half full. And on the floor, not far from the cup, a crushed capsule with a printed label, K7. White powder scattered around it. On the saucer, a tiny amber drop of sweet syrup. And near the window, muddy footprints, as if someone had stepped outside and come back in. This wasn't therapy. This was a scene. Ilya picked up the voice recorder and pressed play. Static. A soft click. Then Lyra's voice, close, like she was standing behind my shoulder. "If you're listening to this," she said, "it means one of you decided to go through with it." A pause. A faint rustle. "Remember," she continued, "the most convincing liar is the one who believes their own version." I stared at the recorder's screen. The timestamp read 2:05. We found her around 2:13. So someone turned that recorder on before we walked in, or after she couldn't possibly do it herself. And in that moment the room got smaller. Because this didn't feel like a crime committed in panic. It felt like a crime staged on purpose. We started noticing details the way you do during an exam, like every small thing could be a trap. At the window, muddy footprints, fresh and dark. On her neck, a thin red line. Too clean, too even, like a cord had been there. On a chair nearby, a single light-colored hair. Not hers. Lyra's hair was dark. On the saucer, that sticky amber drop of syrup. And the crushed K7 capsule on the floor. The clues didn't agree with each other. They argued. Poison? Strangling? A setup? And then the thought hit me, cold and clear. Maybe these clues weren't meant to reveal the truth. Maybe they were meant to make us fall in love with the wrong story. Vika broke first. Not a scream. More like surrender. She was blackmailing me, Vika said. Lyra knew about the reports. The layoffs. The complaints I made disappear. Ilya lifted an eyebrow. Complaints to who? Vika swallowed. to people you don't want watching you. And when she said that, she didn't look at us. She looked at the window, like she expected someone to be out there, or like she was terrified someone already was. Max had barely spoken all night. Then, in a small voice, he said, "K, 7, that's not medication." We froze. "I've seen those capsules," he said. "At the office. In tests. The kind of test you're not supposed to run on people." Ilya stepped closer. "What tests, Max?" Max looked down. "The kind that make people tell the truth. Not because they want to. Because they can't stop themselves." I looked at the mint tea, the syrup, the capsule, and suddenly Lyra didn't feel like a retreat psychologist. She felt like an auditor, a witness, a lure. Someone came here to pull the truth out of people, and someone else decided that truth was more dangerous than murder. Then Ilya did the one thing that shattered the last illusion of rules. He pulled out a phone. Vika stared. "You didn't turn yours in?" Ilya said, calm as ever, "I'm not an idiot." He held the screen up. A message from an unknown number. Time, 2:06. "Don't go in. Let her finish listening." My mind snapped the pieces into a line. Whoever sent that knew about the recording, knew the timeline, knew exactly where we'd find her, and wanted to control the moment we walked into that room. This wasn't just about who killed her. It was about who was writing the script. We stood near the open window. Outside, the yard was flat and dark under a single lamp, like the world had been turned into cardboard. I picked up a thin cord from the table, the kind that could leave a clean line on skin. At the end was a knot. Neat. Precise. Too precise for panic. And two things landed in my head at the same time. First, Lyra wasn't killed in that room. She was placed there, like the final shot of a movie. Second, the person who did it didn't want to disappear. They wanted us to accuse each other. Then I remembered something Lyra said earlier that day, a line I didn't understand until now. "I don't drink mint." Never. But the mint tea was right there, half full, set beside her like a signature. I looked at Vika, then Ilya, then Max, and I looked back at the knot, because the knot was tied left-handed, and only one person here was left-handed. I opened the window wider. Cold air hit my face. For a second, I thought I saw a silhouette near the distant lamp, or maybe it was just a branch moving in the wind, and that, maybe, that's the part one still can't breathe through. Who did it? And if you think you know, tell me exactly how.